Have you been hearing about Saturn retrograde and wondering if you should be bracing yourself for bad luck? Welcome to Ask Jabrielle. Today, it's time for myth or magic. Is Saturn retrograde really a curse? Or is it a course correction? Saturn retrograde begins today, and it goes through the end of November. Now, before anybody starts panicking, let's talk about what it actually is. First of all, Saturn isn't suddenly flying backwards through space. From our perspective here on Earth, though, it appears that the planet is moving backwards. Astrologers call this a retrograde, and many believe during a retrograde, a planet's energy turns inward. Instead of pushing us to take action, it encourages us to reflect, reassess, and visit areas of our lives that could use a little attention. That's why I think Saturn retrograde has such a bad reputation. People hear the words Saturn retrograde and immediately expect delays, bad luck, or one challenge after another. Personally, I don't see Saturn like that at all. I like to think of Saturn as a wise teacher. Not the scary teacher everybody was afraid of in school, but the teacher who genuinely wanted you to succeed. The one who would look at your work and say, I know you can do better than that. Not because you were a failure, but because learning that lesson would make everything that came after it so much easier. That's exactly how I see this retrograde. It's not about punishment, it's about preparation. Instead of pushing you towards something new, Saturn asks you to take another look at something you've already built. Think about your life for a moment. Have you been putting something off that you know needs attention? Maybe it's finances. What about your health? Maybe it's finally reorganizing your closet that you've been putting off for the last 6 months. Or it might be something deeper than that. Perhaps you've been saying yes to everyone else and ignoring your own needs. Or maybe you're staying in a situation that's comfortable, but you know you've outgrown. These are the kind of things that Saturn loves to put in the spotlight. Not to make you feel guilty, but to help you grow. One of my favorite sayings is that awareness is the first step to change. You can't fix what you don't recognize. Saturn retrograde gives us the opportunity to notice these patterns before they become big problems. And that's where the idea of course correction comes in. Think about using the GPS in your car. If you miss a turn, the GPS doesn't yell at you. It doesn't tell you that you've ruined the entire trip. It simply says, recalculating. That's Saturn retrograde. It's life gently saying, let's make a small adjustment now so you can still get to where you're trying to go. I love that perspective because it removes the fear. Instead of dreading the next few months, become curious. Ask yourself, what habits are supporting the life I'm trying to create? Which habits are holding me back? What responsibility have I been avoiding? What promises have I made to myself that I still haven't honored? These are powerful questions, and chances are you already know the answers. The beautiful thing about Saturn is that it rewards effort. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to try. You have to be willing to take responsibility for your choices and make changes when they're needed. That's growth. And that's exactly what Saturn is trying to teach us. So if something slows you down over the next couple months, if an old issue comes back around, or you find yourself rethinking a decision, don't automatically assume something's gone wrong. Instead, pause for a moment and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Because when you stop expecting a curse, you become open to course correction. And sometimes it's just one small adjustment that changes everything. I'm Jabrielle Morningstar, and this has been Ask Jabrielle. Until next time, stay magical.